Well, my life really sucks. Yaiba! Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite animes, and today I'm going to do a review on the very famous popular anime that didn't come out too long ago, and that is Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. I'm sorry if I mispronounce any of that. Kimetsu no Yaiba. Currently, I'm on my 4th anime streak, other than watching Spirited Away, a couple of other Ghibli films, and a few Doraemon episodes when I was a kid. I started my anime gravy train since last year's summer with One Punch Man, which I thought was hilarious, but also somewhat forgettable. I also saw the 2003 version of Full Metal Alchemist, which is epic and powerful, and I thought it's super underrated. A lot of people are talking about Brotherhood, but not this one. I don't know why. And also JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, of course, because I'm a man of culture, and I saw parts 1 to 3, which is absolutely fun, stylish, entertaining, despite a slow start. Now I move over to Kimetsu no Yaiba, which is one of the more popular animes of the past decade, so I would like to know if it's really that good. First off, we have the art style, which I thought was pretty beautiful, but it's not. First off, we have the art style, which I thought is pretty beautiful, but it's not anything I've never seen before, except I guess it's drawn more gracefully and elegantly, I guess. The OP isn't all that interesting. It's basically your average anime OP with your protagonist being super angry and actiony with some passionate Japanese rock music playing at the back. And the ED is not all that special either, in my opinion. Episode 1 was basically the setup for the story. Tanjiro is a good kid, has 5 siblings and a mom. One day when he came back home, everybody's dead, eaten by a demon. Well, everybody except his sister Nezuko, who also somehow turned into a demon herself because her wounds were exposed to demon blood. But the story also drew a line and showed us, hey, good demons exist too, and Nezuko is one of them, perhaps the only one. Then the next 2 episodes are basically about how Tanjiro went to the mountains to seek a sensei who will train him and make him a part of an organization that is the Demon Slayers. And episode 3 is basically a 20-minute long montage that actually spanned over 2 years, where Tanjiro basically trained his ass off. Honestly, even though I think the show is pretty decent so far, this is just a very typical and predictable amateur training plot point that I've probably seen a million times before. On episodes 4 to 5, we have the final selection where Tanjiro had to survive 1 week in a forest full of demons in order to officially become a demon slayer. And at the end he survived, of course, along with 3 other persons, a chill girl by the name of Tsuyuri, a very angry and rude boy, and a very scared and anxious boy with yellow hair called Zenitsu. Please. Every 40 seconds. Okay. Then he came back home and got his sword and uniform, and on episodes 6 and 7, he had his first assignment as a demon slayer, to slay a demon who's been kidnapping young girls in a northwestern town. And while I enjoyed the fight, I still don't ever look back to this fight and be amazed by it. It's just not all that memorable. On episodes 8 to 10, Tanjiro and Nezuko arrived at Tokyo, and I just realized that this is set in the early 1900s. Anyways, this is supposed to be the 2nd mission, but then Tanjiro ran into the ultimate demon boss by the name of Muzan Kibutsuji, who also looks like Michael Jackson for some reason. But anyways, another good demon and her demon son. Another good demon and her demon son decided to help Tanjiro and promised to find a cure for Nezuko to turn her back from a demon to a human being. And while they were inside a house, Kibutsuji sent 2 demons to kill Tanjiro. One demon who has eyeballs with arrows on his hands, like it's Pan's Labyrinth, and a female demon who can grow 6 arms and can play with super heavy destructive balls. And a female demon who can grow 6 arms and play with super heavy destructive balls. It was a good fight, kind of creative, not bad at all. It's just a little weird, like, oh, Nezuko needs to be a good person the whole time, so she's also gonna see good demons as humans. Also, if other demons have free will, shouldn't Nezuko herself have free will as well? I mean, shouldn't she herself be able to distinguish between who's a good guy and who's a bad guy, rather than just blindly hating on humans or hating on demons? And if that's the case, why does she need hypnotization in the first place? I don't really know. And on episode 11, Tanjiro had a 3rd assignment and he ran into Zenitsu. He ran into Zenitsu, the anxious boy, and they both went to a weird, creepy house with a drum demon in it, and whenever he hits a drum on his body, the rooms in that house shift positions, which is a really cool idea. I didn't really care for the humor on this episode, but I thought the introduction of Inosuke is pretty cool. And also, I think the interactions between the characters of Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu are pretty hilarious given how far apart their personalities are, and I also thought the Tsuzumi House episodes are actually pretty fun and had an interesting concept. And episode 14 ends off as a bit of a rest where the 3 plus Nezuko basically took some rest in a safe house. From episodes 15 to 20, we have the one and only Spider Mountain, a storyline so long, yet so friggin' epic and powerful, it's honestly impressive. It's like one gigantic multi-parted battle with so much insane ups and downs. On episode 15, they basically arrived at the mountain and saw a bunch of other demon slayers being slayed themselves. It's spontaneous. In my script, it says that other demon slayers being controlled by spider strings, like puppets. And at that point, Tanjiro and Inosuke ditched Zenitsu. At this point, I'm going to say Zen because it's such a difficult to pronounce name. Zen was too scared and anxious to move on. So basically, on episodes 16 and 17, Zen was behind the other 2, and he encountered a different villain, but also from the spider family, of course. And Zen got poisoned by the spiders, and he had about 30 minutes to live before he turns into a spider. This is the first time in the show where it's actually gotten this suspenseful, where the stakes are this high, and there were just tons of Zen flashbacks on episode 17, and all of them showing how insecure Zen was because of his cowardice and incompetence, and how he actually appreciated his grandfather for being tough at him. And even though Zen only mastered one skill, he still managed to come out of this fight alive, and damn, that is why my favorite character is Zenitsu. For episodes 15 and 16, Tanjiro and Inosuke also defeated the mother of the spider family, the one pulling the strings, and apparently she's a domestic abuse victim. So Tanjiro gave her the most comfortable and tranquil death ever, and it's kind of touching. Episodes 18 to 20 is truly the peak of the entire season. On episodes 18, we see the father spider kicking Tanjiro so hard that he flew all the way to another part of the mountain, while it left Inosuke fighting the father spider alone. The fight between Inosuke and the father spider was ridiculously tough enough, but the real deal is the fight between Tanjiro and the main spider, Rui. Tanjiro ran into Rui and saw him beating up his own sister, and so Tanjiro said they're not real siblings, they don't have a real bond, and this really pissed Rui off. So Rui wanted to kill him, and for the next 2.5 episodes, it's just their battle. And oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Rui is extremely powerful. His spider strings can slice anyone and anything in an instant. And the battle on episode 19 was really powerful and dramatic. I was almost moved to tears while being super stressed at the same time. I'm gonna go into detail, so I'm gonna give a spoiler alert. Yay. Okay. So, if you haven't seen the show, feel free to skip this part. Go to the comment section, find the timestamp, skip this spoiler part, or skip to the end of the video where you can see the score. Anyways, the fight is separated into a few parts. Part 1 is where the fight began. Rui kept shooting strings and Tanjiro had to dodge them. Tanjiro tried to slash the string and his sword snapped in half. And at one point, Rui surrounded Tanjiro with a bunch of strings, and Tanjiro is pretty much a dead person at that point. Suddenly, Nezuko hopped out of the box and sacrificed herself. I was shocked, really shocked. Part 2 is where Rui wanted to steal Nezuko away and keep her. Nezuko fight back, and Rui said he had to punish her and decided to tangle her up and pierce her with strings and hang her in the middle of the air. It hurts. Ow. It's as cruel as some of the most gruesome deaths ever. I mean, it's really cruel. Him doing that to a random stranger, I mean, scary. Him doing it to Nezuko, my heart hurts. Nobody can hurt my Nezuko or Tanjiro's Nezuko or our Nezuko, all Demon Slayer fans Nezuko. Part 3 is where Tanjiro tried to fight back, but given that he's heavily wounded and his sword is broken, he couldn't fight back. At the same time, Rui upped the game and made his strings super dense and super powerful. At the end, Tanjiro saw his life flash by and remembered his dad teaching him a breathing method, which spawned a flaming dragon, and it clashed into Rui's strings. Then at the same time, Nezuko roasted those strings and Tanjiro beheaded Rui. Psych. On episode 20, apparently Rui was still alive because he's a special demon. But no worries, because another demon slayer who's 100 times more powerful appeared and saved Tanjiro as well as Inosuke. On episode 20, we also see more backstory of the spider family, and we see that it's actually all made up. It's not a real family. Rui turned other demons into his own kind of demon and told them to pretend to be a family, when in fact a lot of them never wanted to be a part of this. And I really love the conflict of Rui's younger sister. Yes, she's a demon and she wants to kill humans, but at the same time she's damaged by Rui and was afraid of him. Through episodes 21 to 23, we have ran into a bit of an internal trouble where the Demon Slayer Corps found out that Tanjiro is actually protecting and carrying his own demon sister, Nezuko. So it caused a huge controversy. Most of the people in the highest rank, the Hashiras, were also pretty upset about it, to a point of stabbing Nezuko and tempting Nezuko to attack them so they have the rights to kill her. It really hurted to watch. I mean, I'm sure anyone else would agree with me, but whenever someone hurts Nezuko, even though she's a demon, I feel hurt in the inside. But luckily they got spared by the master of the whole corporation and was transferred to Tsuyuri's house. Tsuyuri being the non-speaking girl who survived the final selection. From episodes 24 to 26, it's basically the rehabilitation training for Tanjiro, Zen, and Inosuke. Tanjiro was the hard-working, strong boy, while the other two were pretty lazy in the beginning. But they caught on afterwards. There aren't anything that special or entertaining about these episodes. That one scene when Tsuyuri suddenly decided to speak was a great scene. That was on episode 26 when Tanjiro was about to leave the house to go to another mission. And of course, he had to melt everybody's heart. On episode 25, the butterfly Hashira, Shinobu, and Tanjiro had a conversation, and Tanjiro somehow managed to sniff out her real emotions, which is really cool. I've always wanted to know what's behind that scary fake smile, but I legit thought Shinobu and Tanjiro would fall in love with each other. That would be great. Other than that, we also got a glimpse of how scary Muzan is. He basically summoned the lower 6 head demons in his team and killed them all, but spared only one, which would go on to be the next big villain in the Infinite Train, or the Mugen Train story, which the finale episode basically built up to. So overall, I'd say this anime so far is reasonably good. The art style feels like typical anime art style, but more elegant and grateful. There are some fairly likable characters, Zenitsu being my favorite. The OP and the ED are just alright. Nothing that great, though I like how at the end of each episode we get a bit of a preview, a secret. And even though the premise is somewhat not all that original or creative, I still think with the entertaining battles and likable characters, a majority of this season is pretty fantastic. Even though it started and ended off a little bit slow, though. Also, another thing I really like about Demon Slayer is that it humanizes demons. Demons are supposed to be antagonists. They're supposed to be villains. But every time a demon gets defeated, we see flashbacks of that demon, of when they are a human being, and their hardships in the past and their struggles. And we see Tanjiro just sympathizing with them. And it's actually beautiful. Very beautiful. Very touching. Anyways, my favorite episode is the episode the Hinokami episode, episode 19, and my least favorite might be episode 3, I guess. Come to think of it, why didn't the story follow up with the whole Tanjiro can communicate with the dead thing? Anyway, I'm saying Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba is an anime worth watching, and I'm giving it a like to decent 8 out of 10. So, have you watched Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Leave a like and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I don't know if it's because I just finished JoJo's Stardust Crusaders, but I guess Demon Slayer didn't really, impress me all that much, even though I think it's a good, solid anime. Thanks for watching.